Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel for this episode 11 here on New Frontier with me, Farmer Murphy. Well, we're pretty much picking things up right where we left off, only it is the next day, pretty early in the morning, about 7:30 I'd say, and I had decided that we are going to put canola into this field here. And the first step in that process is we need to mulch it. And we didn't own a mulcher. So I had to have one ordered up, and it should be waiting for us now this morning down in our pickup area. And I can show you here which one we went with. Now, originally, I was going to go with this Bednar one because I hadn't used it before, but I ended up going with the Speed Max. It is a little bit narrower, 1.4 meters narrower, but it runs at 4 miles an hour faster than the Bednar. So I think, as far as getting the field done, it's not going to be, if anything, a little quicker, not slower. But I went with that because of the difference in price, 21,000 versus 35. You can see we are sitting at 45 right now. That's after purchasing the mulcher. And the reason for that was I really would like to upgrade our windrower. Now, I did, while I was waiting yesterday afternoon, mow out back again. So it has been mowed. You can see our mower is just sitting out there. I left it out of the building just because I need to get the baler out. But I think I'm going to sit on that job and do it tomorrow, and in the hopes that a windrower comes up in the used market. I know it's a bit of a long shot, but if it doesn't, you know what? I think I might go and lease one, just because it's a good size area, and it would speed things up significantly, not only on the windrowing side, but on the baling side as well. So I think that's what we're going to do, one way or another, make that upgrade. So that's why I was kind of penny pinching a little bit, is to facilitate that, to see if we can purchase something. And I've got my fingers crossed, my toes crossed, everything's crossed, hoping something will come up on the used side. But obviously, we're heading down to the pickup area here. We're going to grab our new mulcher, and we're going to get that field mulch. Now, this should be a pretty straightforward process. We should just be able to mulch it. And I believe our seed drills are direct drill, so we should be able then to just go ahead and seed it, and then of course finish off with rolling it. Oh, we need to fertilize too, don't we? Can't forget that. So I guess we do have a few steps in there. Now, I don't know if I mentioned last episode, so if I did, I apologize, but I had to fertilize the soybean, which kind of surprised me. But that might be because we're not running precision farming yet. I can't remember if that was a precision farming thing where the soybeans didn't need fertilizer, and that in base game they still did. Because precision farming came out so early in FS25, I just never played without it. So I'm kind of spoiled that way, you could say. And it is coming, to FS25, but it's a little ways away from what I understand. Now, in that back area there, last time I mowed around the trees that were there, this time I had the time, I stopped and I took those trees out. There were 7 of them I counted that were kind of scattered in this one area, and I'll show you kind of roughly where they were. But we didn't gain anything like arable ground wise or grass wise. It's just more convenient to work the field because you didn't have these 7 trees scattered throughout the area that you were mowing, or mowing and then having to windrow around. So just to make life a little simpler. I figured, what the heck, we got the technology, we might as well use it. I mean, I still have my chainsaw, it didn't go anywhere. Oh, I think we'll jump out of cab here. Oh, I forgot about that. Ah, this is the tractor where my view locks if I change. Okay, now there we go. So we'll just stay out of cab. So unfold first. And I think we'll just do this freehand, meaning we won't use steering assist. Now if our old drills aren't direct drill, then we'll have to cultivate this. But my memory says that they are. So we'll see how my memory stands up for this. We're going to outgrow this implement pretty quickly, I think. But our only choice for a large mulcher is really large, and we need a bigger tractor for that. So, and I don't think our little farm wall will handle this. Just not quite big enough. Otherwise, more cost-effective option would be to have 2 of these, because it'd still be just about half the price of that large one. And that would be the way to go if our farm wall would handle it. But I'm pretty sure it won't. Sorry about that. I just muted you folks there for a minute. My granddaughter and her dad were playing upstairs. He was actually chasing her. You could hear him stomping across the floor and her squealing with delight. And I thought you might not want to hear that. So I just let you listen to the equipment for a bit. Now, I did have an interesting call from my grandparents, actually. Now, you may recall a little while back I mentioned they had come out and visited for the first time, and they were quite impressed. And I got a call. It was actually from my grandmother, but they were basically asking if they could come out and hang around a little bit. I guess particularly Grandpa got the bug once he got back out here and seen the place. Oh boy, you see what happens when I talk? I don't pay close enough attention to what I'm doing. Of course, those of you watching, that is no surprise. Yeah, so they they said they wouldn't mind spending some more time out here, and Grandpa would be interested in potentially helping out in the farm from time to time. So I told him, of course they could. I mean, this was his place after all. Let's not forget that. So really would have been very bad for him to say that that couldn't happen. And that was kind of his, I don't know if you call it his dream home, but or even his retirement home. But that log cabin, anyways, was his originally that he had started building. We just finished it. And there's lots of room there. So I told them to come out anytime they wanted. And I'd be happy to have, I guess we should give Grandpa, well, let's call him Grandpa Walter. Why not? It works. I'd be happy to have Grandpa Walter's help on the farm if he was interested. In talking with Grandma, she should have a name too, shouldn't she? May. There we go. Walter and May. That seems to work. Grandma May was pretty happy because he's talking about slowing down a little bit and coming out here and relaxing and spending some time on the farm. So she's pretty happy about that. Because like I mentioned when we first started, he's pretty well off. He really doesn't need to be working as hard as he does. So she's happy for him to see him step back. So you may see Grandpa Walter in one of these tractors soon. Really not in the position where I need help yet on the farm, but that day is coming, I hope. When you see that area next episode, that's why I purposely haven't shown it, because I think, like I said, I want to upgrade the windrower, and then we'll do another grass work episode. I'm sure you're all excited about that. But I've already mowed it, but particularly we'll get it windrowed. And you'll see that grass area that I've been mowing back there. We have a lot of room now to expand that field once we get a few more trees out of the road. Fields are going to get bigger. The equipment's going to need to get bigger, and going to need more people to work on eventually. So what we'll do next, after this is mulched, is we'll throw some fertilizer down, and then we'll seed it, and then we'll fertilize it. We'll give it the last application when the crop first emerges. We could have put one down and then mulched and likely done it again. Certainly could have done it after we seeded and have them both in, but I'm kind of used to doing it from again the good old precision farming days when the crop first emerges. So that's what we've done in the other ones. So we'll keep on doing that. But I suppose you've got a good handle on this process. I think I'll leave you there and then bring you back in for the fertilizing, because you haven't seen our new fertilizer sprayer in action yet. So that'll be a good opportunity to check that out. I will catch up with you in just a few minutes and we'll do some fertilizing. We'll see you then. Welcome back to the farm. Yeah, there's been a few developments. Number one, I totally forgot that our drills put fertilizer down as well, so we don't need to fertilize this. But I was wrong about them being direct drills. I did a little test because I didn't think the raising and lowering was working as it should. So when I kind of went to test that, I discovered, they're not direct drills. Yeah. So anybody besides me not surprised? Anyway, so we need to go shopping and put a emergency call into the shop. Well, we're going to go with a disc harrow. No, there is this one. Can we pull that? Yeah, 8 meters. We could. I've used that a lot. What's this one? 6 meters. Yeah. What's this? $6,000 difference. Yeah, you know what? We'll go with this one just because I haven't used it yet. And $6,000 is $6,000. Okay, so we'll buy that. We'll get an express delivery so that we can get back working. So I'll go pick that up because we do have rain in the forecast. Actually, when is it coming? Oh, okay. It's not for a little while yet, but all right. Well, let me go get that picked up and I'll move these out of the way temporarily. And we actually will try and get this seeded. So I'll catch up with you in a minute. Well, we're back here at the farm with our new disc harrow, and we are ready to get this field prepped for seeding. Now, I prefer disc harrows over cultivators for a number of reasons. One is disc harrows don't bring up any rocks. Now, I do know there are shallow cultivators that don't bring up rocks, but also for the same size implement, you need less horsepower for the disc harrow, and it typically runs faster, so it means it's more efficient, or you can get the field done quicker. And as a general rule, I see a lot more disc harrows in use around my neck of the woods than I do cultivators. I think typically you want to disturb the soil as little as possible to retain moisture and prevent erosion. And I know from watching real life farmers that a lot just run a disc harrow and they only run it like 3 inches in, and they're really performing more like a mulching function, just to chop up the trash and smooth everything out and get it ready for seeding. Basically what we're doing here. Now that doesn't mean cultivators don't have a place. I do know that not all fields have issues with moisture retention, which is another reason to use or not to disturb the soil any more than you have to. Is some fields actually have the opposite, where they have too much moisture and they retain it, and then they will do a deeper cultivation and turn up the soil so that it can dry better. But that's certainly not the issue we have where I'm from. So they want to prevent wind erosion because we have a lot of wind. They want to maintain the soil moisture. They just want to basically chop up the trash. And quite honestly, you don't even see farmers in my area out with disc harrows. They usually just rely on their air drills, and they just do direct seeding. For all of those aforementioned reasons. But that's why you'll find me mostly using a disc harrow rather than even a shallow cultivator. And like in game, the biggest reason is for a 6-meter shallow cultivator, we'd need more horsepower and it would run slower. So we just can get the job done faster. Now I never really explained the issue I was having with the drills. There is a command, keyboard command, where I can raise and lower both or any implements, all the implements at the same time, turn them on, that sort of thing. And I just happened to notice that didn't seem to be working the way it was last time. We had no issue with it when we seeded the grass, but they're operating the two units out of sync. It'll raise one, lower the other, and then hit it again and it reverses. And if I manually put them in sync, then it will go and just move the one implement till they're out of sync. So I lower the back when it raises the front, and then it'll lower the front and raise the back. Now it just may be a graphic thing. It may have been doing that last time and I just didn't note it because I was watching the back one to watch it drop, and then I assumed they were both in the ground. So I never did test that out because that's what I was in the process of doing when I found out they weren't direct drills. So we'll give that a test here once we get the field in. But that may be something to do with 1.6 potentially, because that update has dropped since we seeded those other fields. But it was working fine there. But I had kind of committed to keep this series more cross-play mods for my console viewers, and those are definitely not console mods, so they're on the chopping block anyways. And if I can't use that synchronized raising and lowering, that'll be sooner rather than later. Although the next purchase, well, actually now that we had to buy this disc harrow, I don't think it'll be a purchase, it'll probably be a lease, will be the windrower. I'd like to upgrade that. And my thought is that now I guess we'll probably lease it, but then we'll do an episode. I've got the grass mowed, I'm sure I mentioned that already, out back, and I'm waiting to the last possible moment to see if a windrower comes up in the used market. Although, well, I guess it depends how much wood products we get to sell between now and then. If a good deal came up in the used market, maybe potentially we could buy it. But I want to upgrade that windrower, and then next episode we'll show that portion of the grass work anyway. Now I know I'm not doing this correctly. I've reverted to my old, spiral, but I just find it's the quickest way to do it freehand and do the spiral. And not that I don't like using steering assist, I really do, but trying to get this done as quickly as possible because there's rain in the forecast. You know what? I think we are going to straighten this edge out here just a little bit. So obviously we didn't need to do the fertilizing because our drills put fertilizer down. I totally forgot about that. But we will show the fertilizing when the crop comes up next month for sure, because you haven't seen the new sprayer in action. So 100% we'll do that. So that's probably what we'll end up doing, is doing some windrowing, maybe a tiny bit of baling, and then we'll jump ahead to the next month and do some fertilizing. So that's what you have to look forward to. Now, normally I would jump in and do a little of this in cab, but this is the tractor where the view locks on you if you change. So we'll just have to stay out of cab for the time being. This, again, the two tractors are not cross-play mods, so they're slated to get changed out at some point. Unfortunately, there's just not a lot of case options based game yet. So we'll have to stick with them for a little while. I would be surprised that Farmall, like I said, it was in FS22, so I would be surprised if it doesn't get released at some point. Now what we are going to do this, like so. But I'm thinking I should probably leave you there. I don't want to chew up all our time, and I always seem to have recorded a longer segment than I thought. Never do I go, oh shoot, that wasn't as long as I thought it was. It's always, oh dear, that's a little longer than I intended. So I will leave you folks there. I will get the rest of this done, and we'll throw some canola in the ground. So we'll see you then. Well, we're ready to start our seeding here, and you'll see at the other end there I did a little test, and indeed the raise and lower function is not working as it should. I'm sure it was working fine when we did those other fields, but it's not working now. So these were on the chopping block anyways because they weren't cross-play, and that is an additional reason to hurry that process up, because it's going to be a nuisance if we want to raise and lower them. We have to do them individually. Can't do them both at the same time anymore. There's my little test plot. Yeah, you know what, I think I'll just leave them down actually. You know, this makes for a slow turn, but because they're not direct drill, it doesn't hurt anything. That's too bad. Maybe there'll be an update come along. Odd thing to, in my mind, to have stopped working, but it is what it is, as they say. Oh, shoot-a-rooney here. Going the wrong way for this corner. That's fairly gentle. We'll see if we can make our way around without wadding this thing up into a ball. Oh, you can see that one lifting. That's the issue. Just really can't turn that direction at all very good. We'll have more room now that we've got that first headland done. But I have some more news to share with you. My mill manager came to me, and he and his family are living in that white building. It looks more like an office building. It was there when we bought the property, and they're finding it rather cramped, and they'd like to have a new house. So he came to me and said that they are willing to, build a house on that property under the condition that if they ever decide to leave, that we would buy the house at fair market value, because we obviously own the land. But he and his family really like living in this area. They just need some more room and would like something a little bit more family friendly, and I imagine more upscale. So I said sure, I was fine with that, and I told him to go to his lawyer and get whatever he needed to drawn up so that he's comfortable. But you bet, if he decides he no longer wants to be our mill manager, and they want to move on, we'll buy the house off him at fair market value, because I mean that's just a perk we can offer to um, anyone new that would come in. And another good reason for doing that is also, the mill's been really busy, much more than it was in the past, and we're running out of office space. They're just basically using that little uh, container as office space, and it's really not working. And so he'd like to take the building that they're living in and turn that into an office. So I think it just makes sense. So we'll have a new dwelling there. And he also shared with me he's heard that someone else is going to be building, well, I guess you really can't call it a town, but in that settlement, there's going to be another new dwelling going up. So that'll be two that are going to be built. So that's pretty exciting. Let's see, what do we have? Including the house that the mill manager is living in now, we have, whoops, what did I do there? We have 4 dwellings, so we'll soon have 6. So a 50% increase. I do know these builders around here, boy, they work pretty fast. So in a couple months before winter, we'll be able to show you that, I'm thinking. Now, I don't know if it really has anything, to do with us. I suppose in case of the mill manager it does, because that's just directly related to the amount of business that we're doing, because we need to expand office space. Yeah, we got enough room here. Oh yeah, we made her. It's nice now we're getting a few mods in. It'll make expanding that area down there a little more interesting. And easier, I was going to say, and yeah, true easier as well. We'll buckle that thing up this time. We'll turn her around this way. Now I don't foresee building a whole town in that area. It's kind of not my thought, but I definitely am going to build it up with some more dwellings and likely productions. Well, definitely productions. We get down in that area. So there'll be stuff happening there as well. And again, we're just going to straighten out this edge a little bit. I guess we could actually get rid of that now. I don't think we need it. Thing is, I'm not raising and lowering them at all. No, it's not very realistic, but it's easy. Now I will have to roll this, and I'll do that off camera. And like I said, we'll come back in when we're ready to windrow up back, and then that's likely to be right at the end of the month, and we'll just jump ahead and do the fertilizing. If these were direct drills, we might have gotten away using the farm all with them like I had originally intended, because they wouldn't be running on loose ground. But not the case. It would definitely not pull them on this cultivated earth for sure, because it wouldn't pull it on the plowed. But it would pull the cedars on the grass with them down. Who cares? This is like nearly 7 meters. Let's just jump in the store. What would it cost for us to upgrade to like at least 6 meters? No, that one's too small. What's this one? See, that's 6 meters, 116 grand. There is this one. It's not a direct drill either, but it's 4.6. I'm sure that one's just, no, that one's 4. Well, that one is 6. Not a direct drill either. Is this one direct drill? It is. Might have to go and look in the mods and see. Oh, I don't think that one's 3. That one's 622. Yeah, that's a long ways from $6,000. Oh, well. See all those things right there? We got lots of those. Didn't look, but I imagine they all take more horsepower too. Bad news for our tree lovers. Oh, did I miss? I did. Shoot. Anyways, I was right. I did yak on there in the previous segment for a fair while. So I think I will leave you there at this point. You have seen these in action before, fairly recently. And I will meet you later this month when we'll have, one way or another, we'll have a new windrower. So if you're still with me, I really do appreciate you watching. If you haven't already, I encourage you to hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want to see when other content like this lands, don't forget about that old notification bell. But for this episode, here on the New Frontier, it's Farmer Murphy signing off.